Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Spirit Lounge podcast. With me, David.
And me, Glenda. And we are two psychic mediums from both sides of the pond.
Glenda is in Australia.
And David is in the UK.
And we're here to talk about, discuss and give our opinions on all things spiritual, including psychics and mediumship.
And if you've listened to the podcast before, you know how much we love to laugh while keeping it real, honest and down to earth.
As well as having those discussions, there will also be guest interviews and maybe some other surprises.
So come with us now on our podcast journey and let's see what's happening in the Spirit Lounge for today's episode.
Well, hello listeners and welcome back to the Spirit Lounge. So I'm here as always with Glenda. Good evening, Glenda.
Hi David, hello listeners, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this week's session.
Yes, because if you're watching this video, you'll see we have a special guest in the Spirit Lounge with us. So today we have a medium from Dundee, Scotland, and her name is Leanne Lackie. Leanne is a psychic medium, and we're going to bring Leanne into the conversation now. So good morning. Yes, good morning for you as well. It's Scotland. See, I've lost the plot already. Good morning, Leanne. Welcome to our Spirit Lounge.
Good morning, Glenda. Well, evening where you are.
Yeah, that's what confused me.
Leanne, so excited to have you here. I was busting to get you on. I said to David, can we get Leanne on? And he's like, yes, we can. So one of my favourite Scottish people.
Oh, I know, but you know, this world tour's got to happen, Glenda, because I mean, we need you to come over. You need to come your holidays. It's calling.
I'm coming back. I know, because this time when I come back, I'll know more people and there'll be bigger gatherings. So I'll be able to work with everyone else. It'll be so amazing. So
I know.
Manifesting.
But
hey, this session's about you. So Leanne, tell us about your journey. Tell us where you begin. But before we begin, I have to let the listeners know how amazing this has come, because we had to work out a date to get you on, and we had certain dates because I'm going away, Dave's going away, and then we've got other people coming on. And I said, what about this date? And Leanne says, that's the anniversary of my dad. And I'm like,
So today would have been my dad's 78th birthday. So it was when we put the selection of dates out. The fact that you picked the 13th, I was like, oh, he's with me. You know, he'll be bossing me about from spirit side today. Say this, say that. Could almost hear him in my ear.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, lovely.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I just think that's just, you know, that's the divine intervention, how it happens and how it's just all aligned. It's just magic. So your dad's here with us. He's going to help you along and give you the little prods to say, talk about this, talk about that. So tell us.
Absolutely.
You're from Dundee, which is out of Glasgow, as far as I can remember. Is it on the coast?
We're on the northeast coast, so we're actually on the same side as Edinburgh. So we've got Edinburgh, Dundee, Aberdeen. So I'm on that side, and and Dundee's just, I mean, it's a city in itself, but it's sometimes it could feel like a village. Everybody knows everybody, but it's lovely. It's quite a huge spiritual following in Dundee, you know.
Oh, really?
Really. We're always kept quite busy in Dundee because everybody's interest. So that's really good, you know. But to answer your question, like I started, you know, I had things right through my life. I started probably from day one, really, but didn't step into it until I was in my 30s. So there was always little signs and little, you know, when you're a child and you're a wee bit more open to things, and there was always little things that crept in. So, for example, I used to jump in my mum and dad's bed in the morning. Like a Saturday morning, I would jump in the bottom and stick my cold feet on them. And I would say, you know, somebody talks to me in my head. And my mum's like, don't be silly, that's you thinking. that that I was getting visitations, and I actually saw my gran standing um at the in my bedroom at the door in the door frame, and I remember it so vividly because it was the night before I was going on holiday, and I saw her standing there, and I was like, wow, like didn't expect it, but I wasn't scared. So so there was little bits right through my life, intuition, really strong intuition. When I got into my 20s, my other gran, she was still alive and she was absolutely fine and well. She was fine. And I went to Florida on holiday with an ex-partner. And before I went, I said to my mum, anything happens with Gran, you really need to get in touch with me. You really need to let me know if there's anything. Phone me. So, um, then I go on holiday, and within about 4 or 5 days, the phone call came to say that she'd passed. But there was lots of different things. I mean, my mum, God love her, she wasn't as like when my dad passed. Yeah, she went to see a medium, but she wasn't the way that I was. She wasn't a complete believer. She wasn't like that. Was um to me, that's the norm. And
Yeah.
the way that I've been brought up, it's just, there was always a knowledge of the other side. There was always a knowledge that this isn't it, and then
Yeah.
so my mum was quite freaked out, both by like my abilities and my daughter's abilities, because when she was 3, um, we had been in my mum's house, and my mum's house used to be my gran and granddad's on my dad's side. So we were getting ready to leave, and I said, "Say bye to Granny." So Maya said, "Bye, Granny," and then she turned and looked into the corner and went, "Bye, Granny Margaret," and my mum just went pure white,
Oh
thinking, "Oh
no.
God, there's another one, another one in the family." But yeah, I mean, there is quite a strong sense of that up my dad's side of the family. I'm actually
Yeah.
just doing the family tree at the moment, and
Oh,
my
love it.
uncle, my uncle said last week, information that could have been helpful 20 years ago when I thought I was going mad. Your granny was psychic. Oh, really?
There you
Just
Why do
casually,
families do that? Like, tell me
casually
now.
dropping it. I know, and he's got a bit of an ability. And my dad, he was able to see spirit. Not that he ever did anything with it, and not that it happened all the time, but he did have situations when he saw spirit. So as I kind of progressed through life, I was always intuitive. I always knew when I was going to get caught doing something bad.
yeah.
So I'd always get a feeling if I was with like an ex-boyfriend when I was like in my teenage years. I wasn't allowed to see him, and I'd get this feeling you're going to get caught, and I'd say, "No, we can't meet up." Because I had this feeling. And actually, he trusted that. He really was like, no, every time you have that feeling, we do get caught. So we'll just leave that. But then as I progressed through life, I lived in London, and I remember standing outside the College of Psychic Studies and looking in and going, oh, how I wish I can go in,
Mm.
and I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to be me at that point. I was still very much in the closet
Yeah.
about my abilities. And then I come back to Dundee. And when I met my partner and we had children and settled down, that just cracked me wide open. Like when I was pregnant with the kids, Glenda, you'll know yourself, especially if you've got kids who have a wee bit of the ability themselves. I feel
Yeah.
like that kind of then enhanced my psychic connection. And my daughter was born quite premature, but I knew she was coming. So I
Same.
was like
Same as
checking.
mine.
I was checking every week. You know how you get the diary? This is like the development stage that she's
Yeah.
at, and oh, that's fine. And I was checking, and then she was born at 31 weeks, so quite early. And
Yeah.
then with my son, I knew that he was going to be premature, but not in the danger zone. I knew he was going to be fine. But when I was pregnant with Cole, that's when I couldn't ignore it any longer. So my
Yeah.
son's autistic, and so he uses he's got some words now, but up until recently, he was non-verbal, so there was a lot of kind of mind-to-mind communication going on there. And
Yeah.
when he was when I was pregnant with him, I remember that when we were going in for a scan, I got a vision, and it was one of the first and strongest visions that I've ever had. And I had a vision that there was going to be something on his face or wrong with his face, and I was like, "Oh, there's going to be something wrong with his face." But what happened is when he was born, he's got just a slight droopy eyelid. So I knew, I was like, oh, that's all it is. Thank God, he's absolutely fine. But to have that evidence, like little bits of
Yeah.
evidence that would happen. But yeah, I thought I was going crazy. I thought seriously had lost the plot. So I knew when my door was the way to go. I knew when my phone was the way to go. I was actually quite annoying. You'd think you would be sitting there feeling, oh, I'm gifted, I've got this thing. But in actual fact, it was winding me up. So I went through to see another medium and said to her, "You need to tell them to go away. I can't be dealing with this." And she went,
Yeah.
"You tell them, you're the medium." And I was like, "Oh God, here we go." So they did
Um,
actually leave me. I wasn't as strong for a couple of months. Cole was born, and then I think I got a month, and then it was back, and then that's when I started developing. So I couldn't ignore it. I needed to be able to control what I was getting, like
yeah.
because it was so do you know what, like seeing
Overwhelming.
yeah, and
Yeah.
see now looking back at the beginning, when you're getting all these little bits and it's so exciting at the same time, but it
Mm.
can be quite overwhelming. And I needed to be quite structured in the way that I wanted spirit to communicate with us. I'm not a good person at getting woke up at 2 in the morning, so don't do that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I had to be quite structured in the way that I worked with spirit and having boundaries and being taught. And I've always been so fortunate in my journey that I've had great teachers. I've had really
That's
good teachers.
and
Don't
that
get me wrong.
helps.
I felt
Mm.
into, like, I'd maybe done a class with one or two and went, no, you're no for me. But solidly, I've had two teachers. I've had a lady, Karen Docherty, who actually knows Bill. So they two are
Yeah,
friends.
yeah. I think we follow each
So
other on social media and things like that, Karen. Yeah.
yeah. So Karen and I are really good pals now. But she helped me develop, and what I liked about her teaching style is it wasn't forced upon you in the sense that you will be a caricature of me. That it was very much feel into what are you getting, very kind of fluid in the way that she taught. And then in COVID, it was funny because but obviously we're all locked down. It's absolutely
Mm.
horrendous what's going on in the world. And I thought, I'm a real reader of books. I've got books and books and books. I need a solid book. I need a book with pages. None of this kind of swiping. So I went on to eBay one day, and I ordered about four, like it was like a bunch of books, that were a bundle. And in there was like a couple of books, spiritual books. There was one of Colin Fry, and there was one of TJ Higgs. So when I opened Colin's, because I'm a huge fan of Colin all my life, well, as long as he's been on the TV, and I opened the book and it was signed, and I was like, oh, feel the energy
Wow.
of the signature.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God. So I was absolutely jigging that I had Colin Fry's signature. That made my day, made my year. And so I was reading the books, and then I picked up TJ's and I never put it down. I just read it for the full, the whole lot, in
Yeah.
the space of a day. And then I contacted her. I went, I wonder if she does any online. And it just so happens that she starts her online mentorship the following week that I contacted her. So I started doing her online class, and then I moved on to her online mentorship. And I think I've done either 3 or 4 mentorships with TJ. And she's a brilliant teacher. And again, very much don't be the same as me. Be the person that you have to be. She really nurtures
Yeah.
people in that way. So, like I say, very lucky. but I took to it quite quickly. So once COVID was over, actually no, before COVID, I think I was starting to do one-to-ones. I was doing more. At first, it was Leanne Lackie, psychic tarot. Right, that was my
Yeah.
first name, and I'm not a tarot reader that knows all the meanings of all the different sets or anything like that. I'm very just intuitive,
Yeah.
but as soon as it got this place, this is in my back garden, my little spooky hut, as we call it, and as soon as it was built and I put just a message out on Facebook, that was back when people could actually see your messages on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I put my message out on Facebook, anybody like a reading. And so it was only supposed to be psychic. But from that first reading, I was doing spirit, first reading all the way. And so I had to
Mm.
really kind of, as I moved through that development, I then had to kind of recreate who I was. Like you, David,
Mm.
I know it's your bugbear. Like you want people to describe what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I then changed away from psychic tarot to psychic medium. And calling yourself a medium, oh my God, it was
Yes,
so hard.
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like we talked about
oh,
this, I think last week we recorded
I
something,
think so. Yeah.
and
yeah,
how we all started off without saying it, and even just now
mm,
saying it, we kind of go, "Oh, I'm a medium. I'm a medium." It's hard to
yeah,
wrap your brain around
Yeah.
it, isn't it?
Yeah.
haha.
It's true.
And then along with that, calling yourself a medium and the self-development and not caring what other people think. So to come
Mm.
out as a psychic tarot, I know there's people that I love that were worried that I'd actually lost the plot. And that like my one of my best friends, Elle, she says to me, do we need to get mental health counselling for you? And I was like, but she was saying it tongue in cheek, and I was like, no, no, honestly, this is what I was here. This is what I'm here for. This is what I was supposed to be doing. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, when I was at work and things like that, it wasn't until you actually proved yourself, like until people would then get feedback to say,
Yeah,
actually, she's quite good at that. And I'm not putting myself down here when I say this, but in my life, I've always been middle. I've never been like my brother. He's like the golden boy, as we would call him in the family. He was always
yeah,
best of grades and really good, and went to the better university, and always better. But for me, this was the one thing that I thought, actually, I'm quite good at this. Like that. I thought,
yeah,
this is where I belong. So yeah, so like I say, loads of development, and because I was basically in my shed for the whole of COVID, my development really came on, and then I changed just to kind of psychic medium, and then these opportunities, and I've never had to worry about filling my book. It's always
yeah.
been
Oh.
very natural and fluid, but I'll give you a laugh, so the other week, I'm doing a fundraiser for a young man who passed. He was only 18, and I thought, do you know what? You hear all the mediums talking about, like paying Facebook for a wee ad or something. So I put it on, and do you know what? The response was awful. I will never, ever,
Me too.
ever do that again. All these
Mhm.
horrible comments, and all I can think
Yes.
about is, oh my God, I'm going through and deleting these comments and thinking, I hope that his mum's not looking at this,
Mm.
because
Mm.
I'm trying, like, that this is something that I'm doing from the heart. This is like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
something that I'm given. This is like something that I'm actually not charging for that event.
Yeah.
I'm giving that for free. And then you've got these people coming on and saying, you're this and you're that, and you're taking advantage of the vulnerable and blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm somebody that, like, I don't hear it a lot. So when I was getting it on my page, I was like, oh my God, I will
It's
never do that again.
hurtful.
And I
It's
only I only
it's
spent
so
like
bad.
£2,
Yeah.
£2 or something. And I thought, because it was meant to be for the full week, and I cut it off after a day. I went, well, there's a lesson. Like all my followers that have ended up on my page have come from word of mouth, or like
Yeah.
it's not been like sell, sell, sell. it's been because of the work that I've done, and I'll never ever do that again.
No,
Because they will find a way to find me.
It's terrible. We,
Absolutely.
we
that's
spoke
it.
about it before, didn't we? About how to get
Always.
ourselves out there. Because you said before, Leanne, hardly anyone sees your posts anymore. So we
No
were
one.
discussing between ourselves now how do we do that. I don't know if we've got local business pages on Facebook. I said there are, but I don't want to do it because
No, me either.
even in my local my local Facebook page, I will not advertise myself in there because of the comments that I see other people get from other posts. Like I'm a new
Uh-huh.
hairdresser who wants a new haircut, and even that, people are like, "Who do you think you are?" And I bet you got a shit hair.
Horrible.
It's
Yeah.
like so
Yeah, I see it.
you don't want to put yourself out there, but obviously we need to kind of advertise ourselves in some way. But unlike you, Leanne, I won't pay for it.
Me
But
either.
I don't
No,
want to put myself in that
No,
position where I've got then a load of hate coming back at me. So as you
no.
say, we
I
do it
know.
from the heart, right? We do it because we want to help people, not not
And
for any other
let's
reason.
but do you know what I don't
Exactly.
understand when you talk about that? You're giving from the heart. You're doing this to help someone. But what I don't understand is there's no people don't respond to that. They're going to respond if someone famous, and I'm
Mhm.
not like just say John Edwards, right? He's famous. John Edwards puts something up, everyone's for it, but no one wants to help the little person when they're doing
Mhm.
it for free. And this is where there's no support. They'll go and like
Mhm.
and support someone that's famous, but what about these little people that are just as good but aren't
Yep.
recognized and that are
Mhm.
trying to come from the heart and help? This is what's so frustrating with social media. But
I know.
humans these days seem to just want to be spiteful and hurtful on social media.
Mhm.
And we take it personally, we take it to heart, we get upset with it, and that sucks. It really
I
does.
know. I know it is, and it's such a shame. And there's sometimes when I go, that's enough social media. I'm not looking at that
Mhm.
because, and the thing is, it's people that you wouldn't imagine, like older women or older men, and people that should really know a wee bit better,
Yeah,
that are saying these comments about young girls, or like people that are trying to add a bit to their community, and it's just, yeah, it is hurtful. I just think it's quite toxic,
oh,
social
absolutely.
media.
Yeah,
But at the same time, like my page, up until that post, my page is quite clean. Like but with apart from every so often we'll get like a scammer that'll duplicate the page or whatever.
Mhm.
But in those senses, like I don't get a huge amount of like bad comments or anything on my
No,
stuff, because
neither
it is
do
it
we.
is it is word of
Mm.
mouth, and
It
and
is.
that's the best way. Yeah. So but yeah, I mean, there's been, like I say, I could talk all day about the development because there's been so much. Obviously, I mentioned that my dad had passed as well, and at that point I was only 17. um
Mm.
but that was when it was kind of really put upon me, this is true. Your dad has gone to the spirit side. Your dad is no longer in his body, but is in the spirit, because I felt him. I went to see it because my dad died very suddenly, heart attack. He was only 50. Um, and I wasn't there. So I didn't get that
Mm.
closure with him. And
Yeah.
then I went to see him in the chapel arrest. And I was like, I could do this for a job. You know, I was a very strange child. First, I wanted to be a pathologist, and then I was thinking,
Mhm.
could be a funeral
oh,
director. This appeals to
Mhm.
me, and
Mhm.
still does. Um, but
Yeah, me
I went in
too.
to see.
I'm the same. That's my
Yeah,
ultimate job. I used to work in pathology, and all I want to do is going into funerals now. And I'm like, oh no. And everyone says there's too much death. It's too
mhm,
low. You need to surround
yeah.
yourself with the living. And I'm like, I get it, but I get what you mean.
Oh, I totally love it. But then when I was in and I was talking away, and because I was 17, I had a lot of sins to confess at that point, right? So I goes in and my dad's lying, and I take his comb and I comb his hair, and I say, Dad, and I confess my sins. But the energy was, it was like I was talking to him, but the energy was behind me. So I was like, could feel him, and then I thought, I must be crazy, but I could actually feel it. I could feel him at the back of me, and it was like the energy was bouncing off his body to the back. That's the only, and I hadn't done any energy work at that point, you know. I just felt him, and I would feel when he would come in, and for the first 6 months, it was just so numb because it was such a shock. You know, it
Yeah.
was just like you just I actually can't remember much about that 6 month
Mm.
that period, but I do remember going to see a medium at 6 month mark, and this lady was working from a pub in Dundee, and I went in and I sat, and the things that she told me, I was just it was like I couldn't cry really before that, and it all just came out in floods. You know, she released something in me, and then I actually felt that was the start of my healing. You know, that 6 months before it, it was just overwhelmed. And then the healing began after I seen that medium. And that to me, I mean, I didn't think that my experiences meant that I was a medium, because you would think that there would be a flash of light to say that you're a medium, but
Mm.
but it's no flash of light for me. There was just real hardship. It was
That's all
just
it
like
is. People
lesson,
don't
lesson,
understand.
lesson.
It's
Oh,
hard work. It is hard
yeah.
work, and it's only through trauma, grief, and hardship that we become mediums. We don't, like David says, we don't wake up and just go, I'm going to be a medium today. Like,
Mm.
hallelujah, I'm here. It doesn't happen
No.
like that.
I know,
It's,
I know. Blood, sweat, and tears.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
And the
when
rest.
it's come. I mean,
yeah.
and the money that's involved in your training. You know, there's two
Hmm.
things that I spend my money on: investing in my mediumship and concert tickets. Like those
Oh,
two.
you are my sister. You are my twin.
I cannot be in the back. I'm like, if I'm going to go somewhere, I'm going and I'm having the best seat in the house. And the same with the mediumship side of things as well. I'm just like, if I'm going to do this, I want to go with a teacher who I would deem as someone to look up to, someone that
Yeah.
I know their work is something to strive towards. And with Karen and with TJ, to watch them, both of them work, is just like it still gives me something to strive for. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I am a medium in my own right, but I still go, wow,
Yeah.
how
Yes.
did that, like David, you'll have been there at Eastbourne when
Yeah.
TJ took the stage, and you're just like, wow,
Hmm.
just amazing. And so it gives you that lifelong development, doesn't it? It's kind of,
Absolutely.
you don't want to be the same. You just want to strive to kind of, where can I tweak things? How could I improve
Hmm.
this? You know,
Yeah.
this kind of just now I'm working on trans. I was in a trans class last night with a group. And so that was interesting. So I'm just kind of feeling the things, you know, with my own development as well. Now that I've given up my job, I've got time to do that, you know. So so I left
Ah.
that in December.
So you
Ah.
So
full are you full-time medium then?
I'm part-time medium. You couldn't do it full time. You
No.
couldn't do that energy every single day. But I'm happy. I'm actually really happy with my workload for the first time in years. Because what was happening was Tuesday, Monday, and Friday I had off. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I was at work, and it was quite. I was a student services officer, so I was an advisor. So I was giving people advice all day, then going home, having my tea, and then at night time giving more people advice. And it was just like, oh, I just can't
Yeah.
keep going with this.
Yeah.
um and then the opportunity come up to take voluntary severance, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do that. And so I thought, if I'm going to do it at any point, this is the time, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. And you know, I've no looked back. I mean, it was a bit
Mm.
of a shaky start at the beginning of the year. I lost my cousin, and then I lost my dog in the
Oh,
space of 2 weeks. And then so it took me a wee while to kind of get onto the like trajectory of getting working in that. But now I am, it's just amazing. I just love it. So I'm just, yeah, it's best thing that I ever did. It really is.
Oh, it is. Our work is pretty magical. Like we, most of the time, like 99% of the time, you have amazing clients. You know, every now and then you get hit with one that's probably not the nicest person, but I mean, we do pretty well compared to working out in the community and doing a normal job. Our work is full of love and it's full of healing, and it lights us up just as much as it does for that person sitting having a reading, or, being in a demonstration, or, being in the service or anything like that. It's a pretty special calling, I feel. And
Yeah,
you're growing every day. Every time you work, you're developing your your gift, if you call it a gift, or your ability, or your connection to spirit is getting stronger every day with every connection. So, I mean, how is that not fulfilling? Like,
I
it is
know, I
it's pretty
know.
amazing.
It is amazing, and I'm so lucky and fortunate to be able to do that, and
Mm,
that's just down to the fact that I live in a spiritual hub, Dundee. Like, there's so many people who love the spiritual side of things. So I was away at a fair. Now I go to that fair and I work and I do mini readings, and uh, probably should kind of step aside and let some of my students like go and do that. But they're there as well, like the ones that are working now. Um, but I just love it. I love to be with my friends. Like we've got friends that are healers, whether like lots of different modalities that all come to
mm,
these fairs. And I just love to sit in the energy of that and to,
Mm.
to speak to people that are on my wavelength. And it's actually quite healing just to even have like a bit of time at the beginning and then a bit of time at the end just to speak to the people and just to say, how are you getting on and how is things going for you? And just connecting and just
mm.
having that around you because it can be quite lonely being an independent medium.
Yeah.
I'm not tied to any
That's
churches and I've never done any church work. So it can be as a lonely path at times, when you've not got people. But now I've got my own development circle. Now I teach. So
mm,
I've been teaching since, well, probably the last 3 years, 4 years. I've been teaching and I've got a lovely wee group. And so that I really kind of try and keep us all connected. So we'll have a night out, or if I'm demonstrating, if some of them are coming, then I'll say, right, okay, I'll demonstrate. And then later on, we'll go for drinks or we'll do whatever. I want to keep the social aspect for them as well, because
mm.
I think it's really missing for our independent mediums,
Mhm.
It
like the ones
is,
that aren't trained through churches.
and that is like I'm over here and I feel like I'm by myself all the time. But all my family is online. Do you know what I mean? It's like I miss
Yeah.
it. But if I need help, I just reach out. I'll send David a message. I send Bill a message, or today before we got on, well, I'm on the phone with Annie T, sending each other voice messages. It's the community is growing slowly, but I
Mhm.
feel like I don't know if you've had that um, through your development where there has been unkind spiritual people around. Have you
Mhm.
experienced anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have. I knocked on many doors
Yeah.
before I found my teachers. So, like, there was times I was actually made to feel quite unwelcome in certain churches. Um, you would ask, and then you were told, "Oh, you mustn't ask to go in a circle. You need to be invited."
Oh, yes,
Like
I've
that is
heard that
so
over there. Yeah,
so
I've
bad
heard that.
practice. And I'm like, "Oh my God, there's so many rules." And and then so
Mm,
I did have a few doors shut in my face, and but on the whole I've had good experiences. um I have had a couple of negative ones, like online and things like that. And the
mm,
thing is, I'm the type of person, I'll take people as I find them. I think that in centres and churches, wherever you go, up and down the country, there's always going to be fallouts and there's always going to be people that don't get along with people. But I try to kind of like just go in with my own eyes and see people
Absolutely.
for who they are. And then
Hmm.
that way, like it feels like I'm kind of on the fence with a lot of things, but it's not my nature to get involved in conflict. If there's any conflict, I just cut contact. That's me done. But I generally don't have any conflict. And don't get me wrong, like I'll just not get involved in other people's dramas. That's not
Oh,
for me.
absolutely. We say that a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
Look, we don't surround ourselves in drama because a lot of stuff down south, down here, there's a lot.
Mm,
You hear a lot about the churches. They're doing this, doing that,
mm,
bickering about this, bickering about that. The committees implode because we're all arguing and all this business. And I'm like, just, I don't want to know. Keep me out of it.
Yeah.
Do
mhm.
you know what? If I paid attention to every medium who warned me off another medium or another church or another centre, I wouldn't work ever again
Yeah,
because
same.
someone's always got something to say about that person or that
Mhm,
place to work. And I've been to those places and I've had a lovely time. So
mhm.
everyone has their own experience, isn't it? But yeah, but I just
Yeah,
keep out of it. That
yeah,
what you do is your business. I don't work for
yeah,
you. I actually work for Spirit and myself, and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not
exactly.
about ego, especially
Mhm.
when the ego comes in. You just take a step back and go, I can't
Mhm.
do this. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
this isn't for me. This circle isn't for me. And you know straight away, like you said, you join circles and you just go, this one's not for me. You
yeah.
know straight
no.
away.
Bless. Hmm.
Do you
Mm.
know, like how I developed as well, like being independent, I didn't just develop with mediumship teachers. I developed with a spiritual teacher that took us into like a trance meditation, a lady called Morag Simpson. She actually helped me so much in my development, but it wasn't specifically for mediumship. It was for your own spiritual self. It was for your own, it was for yourself. And
Yeah,
then that actually then kind of took me over, like that
Mm.
then kind of
Hmm.
fed into all these different places. So I just stuck to what I know, and instead of thinking, oh, they're not going to take you forward because they're not mediumship. However, they've taken me forward in ways that I probably wouldn't have got to without having. So I just think, keeping your mind open, really like that will enrich any development that you do. Just going
yeah,
in with an open mind, and certainly like the negativity. There is negativity here as well. Um,
Mm.
People do find that, and I know myself. I'm not daft. There is people that I've heard about that spoke about me. Or who does she think she is? She's only a year into development and she's away doing readings and things like that, as I went on. And I'm just like, well, that's my path. I'll just stick in
Yeah.
my own lane, and then you lot could do whatever you like. And then hopefully you'll find your way back to us once your head's a bit clearer, you know. But I just don't get involved with it. It's just,
No,
I have fun. Mediumship should be fun. Spirit
absolutely.
world,
exactly.
spirit world, love fun. Like
Yes,
love,
Yes.
yes,
love us
Yes.
to enjoy yourself. Love it when we're connecting. Love it when we're all together and we're
Laughing.
having a good time and laughing. Yeah, and joking as well. Spirit world, love that. So to drag yourself down in all the bullshit is
yeah.
like that's not for me.
Hmm.
I'll just
No,
stay here buzzing away, ignoring people, batting off the negative.
Absolutely. No, I'm with you. Absolutely with you.
we
So,
we sort of talk about it all the time. You have to be, what is it, the pilot, or what's the person that drives the ship? Who was,
Hmm.
Captain.
the captain of your own ship. That's it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You're just the captain of your own
Hmm.
ship, and the rest of it doesn't matter. You just keep going in your own
Yeah,
path. That's all that
yeah.
matters.
Just look out for those
Definitely.
icebergs.
Yeah, that's what they are, icebergs.
So,
Oh,
Leanne, with that
yeah, but I
said,
love it.
talking about the fun thing, what do you think makes a good medium?
Integrity.
Hmm.
Do you know what? Anybody that's doing this work should be in it to help other people. That 17, 18-year-old that went to the pub to see the medium, who wasn't even broken-hearted at that point, but was numb with trauma. Um, and that medium helped me. That more than any doctor would have done, and that was never on the
Mm,
table. But she really helped me, and I would like to think that that's what I do for other people. When you're at a point where your mind, body, and soul are in crisis. When the numbness and when the trauma, and then hopefully, kind of as they navigate their own difficulties with that and then find themselves at my door, say 6 months later, then I would like to think that I've had a part to help heal. Because at the end of the day, your mediumship is healing. And I
Mm.
actually said this yesterday. Had a young lad in yesterday. His mum had come to see me at the fair, and he was just beautiful. He was just a lovely, open-hearted. You could tell that he would never normally have been there, but he just lost his dad. And I just thought, you know, when he left, he went, I just can't believe that just happened. Like I can't believe he must have felt his dad in the room. And I was like, yeah, I says, but I'm just the mouthpiece. I'm only the communicator. There's like three people here, you, your dad, and me, and I'm only the person that passes on the message. So, yeah, I mean, not to take away from the fact that I've done thousands of pounds worth of development to get there,
Yeah,
but at the same time, in his view, I just thought that was really special. That especially when you'll know yourself, you don't get a lot of men coming for readings. And so
No.
when it's always special to me, I always take extra care with the young men and that come to see me, or even like men of any age, because I think it's taken that wee bit extra for them to walk through your door.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I'm ticking all the mental health boxes for them,
Mm.
because my previous job, it might be that I'm signposting to counselling. It might be that I'm saying you need to link in with your GP. So there's a lot of my former job, and isn't it funny that how that merges together?
Always.
Like
Always.
absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it is. I'm really lucky to be able to do this job. Like I never forget how grateful I am that that I've been able to walk this path.
Do you find it hard also, like, I know for me, to take a compliment? It's like, oh my gosh, you were wonderful. That was so amazing. That is the best reading. I find that sometimes hard. And it's kind of like, you have to stop and go, you know what? I did do that. I'm
Mhm.
part of that. All of
Yeah,
that time that I've invested and all of that energy and the compassion on that, you have to give yourself credit every now and then because we
absolutely.
don't do it
Hmm.
enough. We don't. We're just
Yeah,
so used to just doing, doing it. We
yeah.
do it every day. But at some point, you have to acknowledge that.
Mhm.
And from what I'm seeing, you need to do that for yourself
Mhm.
because you're doing such a great job, Leanne. You're doing an
Absolutely.
amazing job.
I mean, I do remind myself as well that it's not just spirit coming through, and I am the mouthpiece. However, there's all the training that went into that. So,
Yeah.
for example, if you're sitting in circle and you've been in the circle for, say, 8 years, and you leave circle at the end of the day and you don't think about it again until the following month, and then you go back and you sit in this development circle, and then your development's going to be slower. But for me, I went in and I was all in. I was on YouTube. I was on, like, I was just every book that could be like recommended to me, I read. I was fully immersed. So actually, when you think about the timeline, how much time I spent on my personal development and how much time I actually spent, it's all encompassing. David, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of this podcast, and I listen to I've listened to everyone's. I even go back and listen to them because when I'm cooking, I like a podcast to go on, and as I like even listening to my podcast, even on the days that I want to give up. I'm still
Mhm.
listening to podcasts. I'm still immersing myself in the learning and the teaching and everything else. So it's just, it is a calling. It is a
It
calling, but it
is.
is a lot of work.
It is.
It's not like,
absolutely.
It's
I mean, I don't like it when people say that you have a gift, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
because
I'm the same.
I've worked, I've
so
worked
hard.
and worked and worked. I've worked harder for this than I did for my degree. If this was
Mm.
like something that was university level, I'd be getting a first, because I've worked so, so hard at it. And it is my life and soul. It's
It
it's it's
is.
everything.
It's you could you picture now if I was to come in and go, you're not to do that anymore, Leanne? You'd be lost,
I,
wouldn't you?
I
So
couldn't imagine not being a medium now.
See?
because it is a service as well. And like, what would I do all day? Like, as in, like, how would I keep myself? Like, I'm always looking at like books and things like, what would I do? I mean, maybe it'd be a bit
But
less
it's
stress. And
the
and the thing is,
the
yeah,
connection to
and the thing is,
spirit.
absolutely, and the thing is, like, when for some people they could dip in and out, but I wasn't one of those people. I think I've possibly got undiagnosed ADHD, and I feel like when I go down a wormhole, I could go down a wormhole. I'm like, oh, that's your view, right? Okay, look at the other one. Looking at all the mediums that have went before me. The next thing I'm like, yeah, I've read all these books um and read everybody else's account of how they developed, and everybody's glory stories, the stories of how amazing they were. And then I'm like, oh God, did none of them fall at any point? Because there has been times I've been right, I'm chucking it, I'm
Yeah.
chucking it, because after COVID, unfortunately, when I was vaccinated, I ended up with an injury, and I wasn't well for quite a long time. Like, well, I'm still not right. If I get an infection, then it all starts up again with migraines and brain fog and things like that. So at that point, I thought I was working, I was off my work, I was off my day job, I was off my night job, and I thought, chaps, can't do this anymore. But they found a way back to me. I started doing Reiki. And yeah, I went to do my Reiki course, and I'm good at like opening my mouth and letting inspiration come, but I'm not good at learning symbols. I've discovered that anything that requires a bit of thought, I'm like, or memory, I'm not good at that. So I've actually, now that when I do healing, it's not something that I do as a service. I'm purely psychic medium. But if I do go in to see a family member's house to do a bit of healing or whatever, it's my own brand of healing. But
Yeah.
that healing energy really surprised me. I did
It's
my
better.
level 1 and level 2, and the things that it opened within me, I was like, like things that I didn't believe in before then opened up to me, and I was like, I can't ignore that now,
Mhm.
so um it did really put me forward. But um I know that my brand of spiritual healing isn't like your
Yeah.
kind of traditional Reiki.
Do you
Same
um
as
know what?
me.
I did the same thing, and like I said to
I
people that
couldn't do it.
there's more to healing than just bleeding Reiki.
mhm,
Yes.
Everyone's
I've
a
never
bleeding
done it.
Reiki
Not
master. I've never
interested.
done it. I'm
Me
spiritual
either.
healing. I did that,
yeah,
and then I've got
Yep.
certificates in intuitive healing, angel healing, whatever else. But
Hmm.
there's more to healing than just Reiki.
Reiki. It doesn't do
yeah,
it for me. And
No,
I'm
you.
not
mhm,
against it. It's not something that I've
No, I'm not
wanted
against
to
it,
do.
but it's
Me
like everyone
either.
waves this
It's
banner of
not,
I'm a Reiki master. Well,
I know.
and
But I'm the
healing's
same.
healing, isn't
I go and
it?
do in my own way. And you know what? Spirit has taught me, and I feel like that's the same for you, Leanne. It's about
mhm,
spirit is your teacher.
mhm,
Someone can show you, but you're not going to learn until spirit shows you the way you do it. So there's your connection
mhm,
to mediumship and talking to spirit.
mhm,
You're building that connection with spirit. Same as with your healing. You're building that with spirit. They're teaching you
mhm.
your own way of working. And that's
Yeah,
why I feel it's more connected and more, I don't know, it's my thing.
mhm,
And it's probably
yeah.
the same for you.
Yeah, I mean, I had a really beautiful experience. My best friend's mother-in-law was in hospice, and she didn't have long, and they asked me to go over and do a healing on her. So away I went, and I was in the car, and I could hear, I'm Auntie Mags in the car. Obviously, I'm on my own, and I was like, "Hello, Auntie Mags." And I thought it was actually my friend. My friend had an Auntie Mags, and I thought it was her auntie, but it turned out it was actually the lady's sister. She had a Mags as well. So I went away in, and I did the healing. And God love her, she's like, "What do I do?" I went, "Just lie there and relax." And so I was doing the healing, but what was beautiful was that I could actually leave and then tell the family who was there. So there was four people standing at our bed,
Mm.
and I was able to kind of say, right, okay, so it was a bit of mediumship and a bit of healing. And I know that healing's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be very passive, but in that moment, it was a bit of healing, but then also an awareness of her dad standing there and the different people that were there. So that was really beautiful for me to experience. But then after it, I don't know why, I was shaking. It was really the energy. It must be because she actually passed the following day, but there must have been a lot of clearing and things like that going on. So when I went home, I just like collapsed into the chair and kind of sat for my own healing. So and brought that through. Um, but I mean, I think it's just amazing, the power of healing. It
Yeah.
is, but it's not something that I do as a service. That's
Mm.
something that I keep, and it's like I keep it in my pocket for
No,
if
same as me.
anybody's really, really
Mm.
needing it. And that's like I suppose, my offering that I don't charge for. But then, like, obviously, all my mediumship is charged for. So
Le- Let's talk about
absolutely.
that, Leanne. Let's talk about that. I think we spoke about it in the previous episode that we did, Glenda. I
Yeah.
can't remember. But did you? I know for me personally, when I first started, I did like a year's worth of free readings, right, just to get into it, and then obviously started charging. Did you ever have? I don't like the term money blocks because look, I don't have any money blocks. Just bring the money. Um,
Mhm.
but did you struggle to start charging, or is it something you were like, no, this is what I'm doing, so therefore because I know a lot of people do out there do struggle to put a price on the stuff they're offering. Did you ever feel like that, or did you go straight for it?
So the way that it started for me, because I was working in the college at that point. I basically read for everybody that worked in the college. So there was a little prayer room in the college, and so we would go in there, and I would do maybe a card reading and then tap into spirit. And that was me kind of, obviously I was doing my training alongside it, and that was my free readings. So when this was built, um, actually, like, I didn't have any money for this summer house. I was like, I only work part time. Kids are young, had at that point childcare to pay, and I had no money for this. And I would said to Spirit, I would really love to start doing one-to-ones. And so the next thing, the money just fell to me for other reasons, money from my brother, blah blah blah. And the next thing I had the money for the summer house. And so I was like, yes, okay. So that was the promise I made. I was going to start doing one-to-ones. And I started off at £15 and I was only supposed to do card readings, but I charged from day one. I charged, obviously I did a lot of free readings in my work, and I had nights where I had friends coming over and they would have a drink downstairs and I would take them upstairs to the bedroom and do one-to-one readings. And you know what? For me, because I was going out and seeing what other mediums were doing as well, and I know that you shouldn't compare, but I kind of thought I should be charging for this at that point. I thought, I'm also not giving the spirit people that are coming through me that kind of, like, I think that if you don't charge, then there's no worth there.
That
Like,
value, yeah.
in the
That's
sense
it.
that, so I feel like you need to be charging something, even if it's right at um the beginning. I just felt like I needed to be charging. So I was only £15. So my second client came for an appointment and she was Spanish. And so she turned up with her interpreter, and I ended up reading her through an interpreter and then reading the interpreter. So I ended up with £30. I was like, oh, I am loaded. £30. £30 in one day, David. £30 in one day. So I was like, I was absolutely jigging. And I thought, do you know what? And because your mediumship development is so expensive, I mean, it's so expensive. The thought was, right, I'm going to charge a wee bit, but I've kind of moved through the ranks. Like I've went from 15 to 20 to
Hmm.
25 and moved up a fiver at a time. And at the moment, my readings are 60 at the moment. But, that's not to say, um, this is the problem that we've got, right? I like to play to my demographic. I like to think that Mary along the road who's on her pension can still come to see me. That's the feeling that I have. And I also like to think that, the people in my area might not have the money, to be paying like a huge amount. However, I really feel like you need to charge what you're worth, because I
Absolutely.
also see other mediums who are charging a lot more for a lot less.
Hmm.
And then people will then have this thought of, well, they must be better because they're charging
And they
£100 for their
do.
readings and she's
They
only
do.
60. So there's that. It's like a moral dilemma. Don't get me wrong. I've just recently put up from 55 to 60, and I just think, I do need to charge, but at the same time, I don't want to price myself out the demographic, because in my
Yeah, yeah,
area, people won't be able to afford. Like David, you're down kind of London area, that like the south, and people's wages are a wee bit higher there than they are up here. So I'm quite happy with 60. I think that
yeah.
kind of keeps me in line with the mediums that are in my area. And then that way, because problem is, if they raise their prices, in order for people to view me as an equal, I've got to then raise my prices. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they'll think, well, why is she cheap?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
is she cheaper than this person who's now
Mm.
£90 or £100 or whatever? And yeah, I mean, it does it, and it's so infuriating. But there's me and my concert tickets. So, it comes back to that. I view my £120 seat as a lot better than the £40 seat. But who's to say that's not on a balcony with a full view at
Yeah.
everything, you know.
Yeah.
And again, like same with mediumship. That's why we need to be given the people who haven't got a huge following, like the people that are working hard. These people, that kind of get a leg up on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, that you need to be giving these people a chance to actually flourish and show you what they're made of, because price shouldn't dictate how their mediumship is.
Absolutely,
No,
and neither should the numbers. And
exactly.
I always try to remember this. What Dominic Bogue, Scottish medium as
Hmm.
well,
Yeah.
who said, and I remember try to remember this when I'm going through a bit of one of my phases, like
Hmm.
bollocks, all this kind of thing.
Hmm.
It said those people that are not on social media are the ones that are actually out there doing the work.
Doing the work. He used to say
Yeah.
that to me all the time.
We're not
Hmm.
sat on
Yeah.
social media every 5 minutes doing a live and chucking out all this car. We're not doing that. We're
Yep.
actually out there with the people. We're actually on the road, actually doing
Yeah.
this, doing that. So it's not to say don't support people on social media, because there are some great mediums on social media as well. There are others who
Hmm.
are as psychic as a spoon, but
Hmm.
it's supporting those that maybe are not so visible, because
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
we're actually putting the effort in. It's very it can
Hmm.
be seen very easy to be sat behind a screen just doing lives or chugging cards out, but actually
Hmm.
to get up, to get dressed, to get in the car, to go to the venue, to do the show, to drive back home
Hmm.
again, that takes time and effort. And like you say,
Yeah.
Leanne, we should know our worth and our value, and value
Yeah.
Yeah.
ourselves. And you can't necessarily put an exact amount on it, but as we said in the previous episode, Glenda, we also have to be comfortable with what we are charging. As
Yeah.
long as
Because
you're
we pay
happy
Yeah.
with it and
taxes.
you're comfortable, then that's you're comfortable with your price that you're charging, and that's all good. So if you people out
Yeah.
there are charging £25, you're comfortable with that, go for it. But
Hmm.
you just have that's just you. It's a personal thing, isn't it? But
Hmm.
value
Yeah.
yourself, people. Value yourself.
Absolutely. And the thing is, because this is my main job now, this is my source of income, I can't be affording anymore to be giving away loads. Like I've I get into trouble all the time from my friends. Stop giving away freebies. Stop doing so many like fundraisers. Like, and I'm like, but part of that is part of me. So, but now I'm
Yeah.
limiting it. I'm not a free for all now.
No, you
Very
can't
much
be.
that. And I've also tried to move all my night appointments into the day, so I'm kind of being really strict with myself that I don't want any night appointments. But yeah, you're absolutely right, David, because I'm not good at social media. I'm not good at creating like loads of content or anything. That's not me. I'm not great at sitting in front of a camera speaking and like just I mean I do want to do more of that, but getting time to do it is impossible. So like my social media isn't manufactured in a way that's going to be really appealing to loads of people. But do you know what? My books are always full. My books are always full. I've always got people to see, if anything, I need a help with organising my waiting list and like organising my appointments and stuff like that. I'm getting better. I've now got a wee calendar. So I'm getting better, but honestly, I have for a wee while I've had people. So I had a lady at the fair. She says, "Yeah, I messaged you about 2 years ago about getting an appointment," and she says, "But I knew that you would be like pinned down here, so I've come to see you here." And I went, "That's fine." But I went, "Yeah, I mean, with the best will in the world, so you can't go back to 2 years ago's messages and say you're
Yeah,
still looking for a reading, or people will start laughing at you. You know, two
yeah,
years has passed, but
yeah,
certainly, I'm getting better with that and trying to fill my books in that way, so that. I'm just putting out dates and then the fill, and then putting out dates and then the fill, and that's been working really good for me. But I'm not great. I do a pick a card which brings people to my page. It keeps that level of content up. And
yeah,
people will do pick a card, and the way that I work that is it's inspired writing, but it's typed. So when I'm doing my answers, I connect into spirit and bring through. And sometimes there's really fancy words that come out that aren't mine, So
that's
I'm
how you
like, I
know.
bring through this inspired words, and then I put it out, and that works really well. But that's about all I do on my page, really, apart from advertising the events that I'm doing. And I'm new to demonstrating as well. I only started my first dem was at Eastbourne
How was it?
last year. Yeah,
Ah,
last year. So
ah,
so since then I've done a lot of dems, but
yeah,
yeah, my first dem was to 200 people. So,
yeah. Do you
but
find a difference, Leanne, because you've been in the UK yourself as well, like in London? That's not you're in the UK, but not
mhm,
England.
yeah.
Um, do you notice a difference between a Scottish audience and an English audience? So, I know, like TJ says, the further she goes up north, the friendlier they get. Because down
Hmm.
south, they could be a little bit like, okay, prove it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Have you
Um,
found that with the work you've done, or
You see, I've only ever demmed down in England at TJ's event.
TJ? Okay,
So at Eastbourne, so I've not really got a lot to compare it with. But I do know different types of events will bring different types of people. So if you
uh,
go out to do, say, like I do feel like that's a kind of generalization anyway. You hear a pop stars and that saying, the crowds are always wild in Scotland, usually because I've had a wee drink. So, but even going around the churches or the centres or whatever, people. I've always felt when I've went to the places that I've visited, people want you to win.
yeah,
People want you to um they want to get behind you and they want you to do well. So,
yeah,
um, like for example, I was in a centre last week and I managed to get through quite a few links because I work really quite quickly. It's something that I'm working on. I'm trying to slow down, but because information comes so quick, it's like as soon as it hits there, it comes out my mouth.
mm,
So I managed to get through quite a lot, and like, oh, that was really good. You got through quite a lot of links there, and then I thought, me being me was like, was I not spending enough time on each thing? you know, what's going on there? But yeah, I think that like that maybe is like it is harder to work the lower down you go. But I think that's for everybody. I think that's right across the board.
How did you find the fundraiser? How did you get on with that? Because I know like Beck's Medium, where she talks
Mhm.
about, when she does things like fundraisers, you get people that go along not because they're interested in mediumship, but because they want to support fundraiser.
Yeah,
So how did you find
yeah,
that? Do you find there's a difference between like doing an event like that versus like a spiritual event, if you like?
yeah, yeah, there is. There definitely is. Because when you do a spiritual event and people are coming for that reason, then absolutely. So I did an event just a couple of months ago for a fundraiser, and there was a man, this tall man, sitting. He was sticking out like a sore thumb. He was sitting like that with his arms
Oh
closed,
God.
and all I could see was his head shining. He had a bald head and his arms crossed and a real face on him, and you could tell he'd just been dragged there by his missus. And I was like, oh God. And I just, because he was sticking out so much to me, I was like, had to really stay with the spirit, because I was really kind of getting drawn to him, like psychically, and I was like, no, stay with spirit. And because I work like you, David, I get the spirit and then I give the information out, and then I work out where it's going to go. um but he had such a face on him, but I felt that impacted, not that it impacted the dem, it didn't impact the service, but it did impact the way I felt about the service. So I then had to check in my pal who was there and say, did that go okay? Because I really I could feel him, like
Yeah.
that he was forced to be there. And I
Mm.
feel like that again with fundraisers, like I'm having to really consider which fundraisers I want to go to, because of that. And there's a lot
Yeah.
of fundraising, like things for children, and like sports related things, and and again, all the dads are like, oh, when are we going to be able to leave here, that she's going
What?
on about. But
Yeah.
and then the flip side of the coin is you go into a centre and they're like, oh, amazing, brilliant energy, just want you to do well. They're sitting there like just hoping for a message. You could work so fluidly in that
Yeah.
energy. There's no
Mm.
sticking points. While when you're at this fundraiser, it could sometimes be a bit of a push. Need to like pull it up from your socks, all
Yeah.
that energy right up and out. And you really need to remember your training as well. Like, see, when it comes to those sticky situations, you need to go, right, okay, in with the energy, out you go, right to the back, start pulling them in. And you've really got to remember that even now, because there is times when it's tough. And especially kind of
Mm.
tailing after, if you've stood there for like, say, uh, like you've done 40 minutes break, then 40 minutes. By the end of that second 40 minutes, you're starting to get weary.
Yeah.
You're kind of praying, please let someone with some energy come through."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but
Wow. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
Interesting.
it's peaks
interesting.
and
Mm.
troughs.
Interesting listening to you both talk about it, because I don't get to do that sort of thing here unless I do my own little event. But
Yeah,
again, I don't get that practice. I don't get to do demonstrations like you guys do. And I don't have a massive amount of training behind me to do that. So I'm craving to come over there and do that with you guys, you know what I mean? Because I'm going to learn so much. And I feel like when you're out of your comfort zone and you're doing it somewhere else, you seem to kind of let that pressure go. I don't know. You feel, for me, when I come over there, I'm just like, oh, what happens, happens. You know what I mean? No one knows me here. But
I think that's
here,
what. Yeah, I think that's what it
when you do it,
is.
yeah, when you do it in your own town or something, there's so much pressure. People are just so much more harder, like you're expected to deliver. Whereas if you step out of town, you just, what happens, happens. I don't know. Do you get that? Do you get that sometimes or not?
No, I think it's I don't know, it's when you're familiar with somewhere, I think it is a bit
Mm,
easier because people might know you might feel comfortable with it. And I think, look, I've done certain centers where I've done it once and I've thought, I don't do it again, so I don't need to care what they think about me because I didn't like the energy in there anyway. Um,
mm,
so I think, yeah, I think that's got something to obviously we always try our best, but I just think, yeah, when you're more comfortable with where you're familiar with, but yeah, if you go somewhere where you think, I'm not going to come here again, you kind
mm.
of you
Mhm.
still do your best, but you have the mindset of, well, actually, I care less about what they think about how I did because I don't need to see these people ever again. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
that's taken me a long time to get there because I've always cared what people thought about me, even as a
yeah,
kid and teenager or whatever. Now at this age, you think, oh, whatever. Life's too
yeah,
short to worry
Mm.
about that. And just maturing through it, you do care a little bit less. But at
yeah.
the same time, we still get those events where we go, should have done, I could have done better, or that felt a bit
Mm,
that felt a bit sticky, or it's no whatever. We know we're our own worst critics in this
we are.
in this
Absolutely.
industry. So I always say,
Absolutely.
someone said to me, and I try and remember this as well, is that um, whatever someone says to me can be no worse than what I've already said to myself.
Mhm.
That's
So
true.
you want to critique me, but your critique of me is nothing. There's no worse than what I've critiqued myself on. Do you know what I mean? So I try
So
and remember
true.
that as well.
So
Yeah, it is. It's hard.
where are you heading for the remainder of this year? Like, what's the plans? Have you got anything planned? What are you up to? More workshops, more teaching?
Yeah, so I'm teaching on Sunday. I want to do more with my students, trying to give them opportunities to work. So I'm hoping to do like a little psychic tea room, or like trying to kind of build up things so that I could help them step into what is it they're wanting to do. Because some of my students are really getting to a point now where they're getting they could be doing little bits, like they could start doing little bits, and that'll really help their development. So that's important to me as well. Having come from an education background, because we worked in the college, that comes quite naturally to me to want them to do well. But yeah, I've got lots of demonstrations and things booked in. I've got. I'm hoping to get away with TJ in October to a trance that no, it's not October. I think it's July to a trance weekend. So I've got lots of things coming up, and just working hard. Need to get my website done. This has been the bone of contention for me for about a year, but it's actually happening soon. But the problem that I've got is the imposter syndrome at getting photos done. Having to
Yeah.
Ah,
get the posy, like let's drape yourself over something and look spiritual. I'm not great at getting photos taken, and I would also need whoever's taking the photo to like cut out a few chins. So I'm like, so I'll need to be very choosy about who takes my photos. But yeah, that's the next thing, is getting my website done, just continuing to work. Like
Yeah.
I'm just, like I say, always busy, always trying to like work on myself, the offering. I'm starting a trans circle as well. So my students have been asking for it for probably about a year. And I was like, wait till I'm not no longer doing my day job. But the way that it's worked out, I'm like, no, I've done a wee class, and I think that I'm feeling more confident in myself to start it. This would be very much a joint venture. Me, another teacher, and like another teacher that isn't a medium, but is very skilled in sitting for trance. So, and then our students or whoever wants to come. But yeah, I mean, I would like to do that for my own development, not so much as the teacher.
Yeah.
So yeah, just loads of stuff. It's hard to think at everything that I'm doing, but just working hard and just enjoying the fact that I don't have to work every night of the week. Like
Hmm.
that could actually do this as a day job, and hopefully be able to offer more demonstrations, and hopefully at some point do my own demonstration. I love the fact, David, that we're at this kind of, I'm just a wee bit behind you, and like our development, in the sense that you're now just went out and done your own demonstration, and just David Hale on your own. And that's something that I want to do, like book something. But whether I've got the following for that yet, I don't know.
well, I don't think they're
So
too far apart, Leanne,
Yeah.
because I was like with that dem that I did, that I work at that church anyway, and I've done that church
yeah.
quite a few times, and so
Hmm.
it was offered to me, so I didn't have to do much work there, to be honest.
Hmm.
They said, "We'll give you the space, but you sell your tickets," so I did. So that's
Hmm.
how that worked. But I look at you and go, well, I that's why I asked about the fundraising event that you did and how that felt, because I'm still holding myself back
Hmm.
because I have imposter syndrome, and so like most people, I suppose. So I'm holding myself back from booking those things in because, like you are in my head, I go, have I got the follow? People think that I'm really busy, and look, I am busy doing other stuff as well. But in my head, I don't feel like I've got the following. People might say I
I
have, but
would disagree.
I don't think that I do
I,
because
I would totally
No,
disagree.
I don't feel
same. People
I
love
don't,
you, David.
well, as they
People
did,
love
they booked
you.
more tickets, wouldn't they? But they haven't. So that's my measure because I might have following like all over the place, but not necessarily locally, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not known as the Aylesbury medium. I hardly any people know that I'm here. Basically, I've done the church a couple of times, but yeah, I don't. I see. This could just be me, but I just said in the last episode, Glenda, I don't feel that I'm established yet. I don't.
You
Oh,
don't
I
who
just
have to be.
does?
that's just
Yeah.
that's just. But
But
in my head, I have to be established in order to get the following and to get the people booking. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's just so we're not too dissimilar there, Leanne. Now I look at you and go, well, wish I was doing that and book my own event like that. But I haven't. I mean, I've done
yeah,
stuff
but
with other mediums, so I do
Mhm.
mhm,
that private stuff. But I do want to get into this is David's event. This is what David's
mhm.
doing. David's booked this and
Yeah.
booked that.
But I've still to do that as well. So I've still to have
Yeah.
like my own event. When I do fundraisers, I'm just the medium that turns up and does the work and then leaves. But the good thing about that, I mean, obviously there was the guy that the tall guy that was kind of putting us off. The good thing about doing fundraisers, it's like your training wheels. You know, when you go in there and you do your fundraisers, you're still raising money for the event, regardless of, I mean, it's up to them to get the bums on the seats. It's not, that's not your
Yeah.
priority, really. But um, it then gives you that kind of platform to say, right, okay, say you've got 20 people that turn up. 20 people tell, each of those people tell 10 people that it was a
Mhm.
great night. So those, and then maybe 5 of them will come to your next event. The way that Spirit gave it to me a couple of weeks ago is um, you're like a singer that sings to an empty room at the beginning, and then
Mm,
all of a sudden things will build. It needs to build,
yeah.
but then because of our, and I've got to admit it, your ego, like, oh my God, there's only 10 tickets sold. Oh my God. And instead of thinking, well, it is what it is, like
Mhm.
and then just letting it build. And, I'm saying all that knowing that I've still not booked my own event. But that's what they've given me. They've made me realize that it doesn't matter about the numbers on the seats. It's about the build. I was waiting to get a Miley Cyrus going on there with the climb, but but it's about kind of building it up. And the thing is, with my one-to-ones, when I first started out, I wasn't known to anybody. Nobody
Yeah, me
knew like
too.
my work. So I had to build that up, and it's just going to be the same with the like doing platform work. It's just going to need to be built. And anywhere that I go, like this fundraiser, that it's really like I don't know what how many tickets are sold now, but certainly like it's not been like overly like well sold out or anything like that. But then there's other like the activity ones, like you say, David, there's people that come because of the activity. But yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
the thing to remember is even if you go and it's not the best night that you've ever had, you're still raising money for that charity.
Mm,
You're still raising money for those people that really need it. And like I still take a fee for most of my fundraisers, not the one that's coming up, but for most of my fundraisers, I'll still take a fee for that because at the end of the day, if they're charging £15 a ticket, then they're still
mm.
going to make a huge amount of money for for
Yeah,
for those
absolutely.
events.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, we'll get there. We will get there.
We'll get
I,
there.
I
We'll
just wish I
keep
wish I
going.
could I wish I could just move the two of yous to Scotland so that I had somebody to stand with because
Yeah.
I've not got anybody up here that's like a similar level that would kind of come in and help me like in my friendship groups or anything like that. So I would love somebody to demonstrate with, but then Spirit would always say to me, "You're not meant to be standing with someone. You're meant to be on
Yeah.
your own." And I'm
That's
like,
what
"But
I keep
why?
getting. I
But
keep getting
why?"
I kept wanting to do collaborations with people, and I kept getting roadblocks, or it wouldn't work out, or there was something I didn't like about it. And Spirit kept saying, "You can do this on your own. Why do you need anyone else? You don't need anyone else." And I'm like, so now I try and do all my little events by myself. They're not
Yeah,
big demonstrations, but they're more intimate, and I really enjoy them.
good.
So if it's even if it's small, like you said, it's doing something. You're building on that something every week or whenever you do that. So, like you said, 10 people, 10 people, 20 people, 20 people, 200, 200.
Yeah.
We
You'll
we
just
we'll
need to
get there
find
somewhere.
you'll just need to find your tribe, Glenda. You know, I've like
Oh,
they'll just be this kind of I mean, for you, I just feel like it's a web. Like start your development small, and then the next thing, I don't think you give yourself enough credit
no,
to
I
who.
don't. I
So
do like my one-on-ones. I really
mhm,
do. And I like my healing sessions. Like there, I feel a lot of people take a lot away from what comes through.
mhm,
And I do a couple of those a week, and it fulfills me. My week's gone. I'm busy. When you
mhm.
say you start working for yourself, I don't work night. Like I've just done a evening reading because the lady was in the UK, so I had to wait for her to get out of bed. But I don't do them all the time. I set
Mhm.
myself, I do work during the day. I try and give it, those 9 to 5
Yeah.
type of hours, 9 to 3 or
Mhm.
whatever it is that I work. And I try and treat it like a job, those
Yeah.
hours. So then I have my family time. I can sit down for dinner with my family. But I can make enough in those hours to not have to do nights. So
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah. And
I've
that's what
worked
I'm having to
towards.
do. Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. And the thing is, I didn't give up the day job to then be working at night. You
Yeah.
that's
know,
right.
and
You work
and
for
people
yourself.
do. Yeah, and people need to go to hairdressers and things like that during the day. So I've kind of got to the people pleaser in me
Mm,
is oh okay I'll sort you in at night and things. So I'm having to be really tough on myself. It's not my character to not be as flexible as I am, but it's actually working out. Like I'm a lot happier the fact that I'm saying right okay because I rent a room on a Tuesday and I'll go and I'll fill that diary for the Tuesday and then potentially a Thursday as well. And then I think, do you know what? That's great. That's me finished work. Could spend time with my kids because my kids are still
mm,
young. I mean, Cole's
mm.
10, Maya's 13. They need me, like
Yeah,
especially my 13-year-old. We need to taxi her about. It's very much chop
yeah,
chop parents.
yes.
Out you come.
Sport.
Mum's
So
taxi.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. And then the thing is that then leaves my evenings for my own development, and for running circles or doing whatever I want to do. But I think when you decide to kind of step into being a medium and earning that's going to be your job, then you need to, it's like the flexibility's got to be there, but also like filling it with variety as well, like running your circles, like, I mean, at the end of the day, I love my circles, but it's still bringing in an income. I'm
Hmm.
getting paid for doing what I love.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Absolutely love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
That's it.
And
And that's
it's
good.
not like I'm working.
Yeah.
That's
And it's
it.
the
That's
passion, that's
me.
it, isn't it? To do this
That's
work.
it.
You see so many people on social media just doing it for the sake of doing it, and you can see that. So it's
Hmm.
Yeah.
having a passion for it, and that's the right mindset to have, isn't it? The right focus. I'm doing it because I'm passionate. I want to help people. I'm not doing it
Yeah,
just for a quick buck, because that
yeah,
doesn't bring value to
Yeah.
anybody.
And you
no,
Spirit,
see
the
the
client, or
difference.
yourself. Yeah,
You see the
absolutely.
absolutely.
difference.
I
Yeah.
mean, the TikTok mediums have got a lot to answer for. I
Hmm.
actually, I did go, I made a page on TikTok and then I took it down. Like, again, I've not got
Yeah, I don't use it. I don't use
I've just
TikTok.
not, because I'm not like a real social media person. I started it and I thought, no, this isn't for me. So I've changed it back. Another thing is, if I'm looking at things on TikTok, I didn't want other people to see. I don't trust it that it's not going to show people that Leanne Lackie Psychic Medium has liked something that's a bit not dodgy, but like
Yeah, yeah.
something where, looking at weight loss, techniques or exercise videos or anything like that. I don't want my followers to see that. So I just don't trust it. I don't know how it works.
I
I
Oh
don't
no,
trust it.
I think we have to remember we are not content creators. We are
No,
That's
I'm
mediums.
not.
right.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
our focus. Unfortunately, the social media does come with it. I mean, I
And
do it because to get myself out there, but no, I'm not a content creator. That's
but
not what I
that's
You're
want
the
to
good
be.
at it
thing.
though. You do your little videos and everything, and you're really
Yeah,
good
you're
at.
good, David.
And I
You made
enjoy
me
that.
laugh. You
So
made me
if
laugh
I
with the other one. The
the
one
only,
that you did the other day with the, if you want to date with me or that you want to spend the
oh,
night with me. Oh, gosh, that was funny.
last night I was in bed last night with my other half, and we got home at the same time, and we lay in bed, and I was watching something on my iPad, and all I heard was his phone, me going, "Let's spend the night with me," and he looked at me and he went, "What?" He said, "Do you want a
Stop
divorce?"
laughing.
Oh,
But no,
he's
if I
so
think
handsome.
if I've got something to say, then that's when I don't just do videos for the sake of it. I can't do that. I'm not going to sell myself anybody. But if something's on my head, in my mind, or on my chest, or something's really irritated me, then that's when I will do a video. But I only do it if I've got something to say. Really, if I haven't, then I don't.
Problem
Just,
that I've got is that normally I'm walking about with a root and like my roots are needing done. I've no makeup on. I don't look the part, and then I would have to go and poop, and I'm like, oh, it's gone.
No,
That's where the
same.
moment is. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's gone. Before I could go and like put a face on, or if I've got my roots shining white, which it does, and like then I'm like, I can't possibly like go on this looking as rough as
No,
as I do.
oh,
it's like
Like
I've not got my
usually.
eyebrows on. Forget it.
yes. Hey, I just
Yeah.
use a filter. My husband will look at me and just go, what the freaking hell? He goes, what kind of filter is this shit? And I just go, look, I've got as much Botox in my face that I can put in at the moment. I need a filter. And he just
Oh.
laughs at me. But I just think, hey, it can be like I get so shitty with it, and I can't look at other people's stuff on there. I just focus on my own stuff. That's why I dance and be a dickhead on there. Like today, I put one me dancing on there because the vibration was so low, I could feel it. I'd connected with other mediums and talked to them, and everyone was feeling the shift of the energy that was happening or that is happening right now. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've got a big day. I've got readings today. I've got readings tonight. I've got a podcast. I've got to keep my energy up. The only way that I can do it is play music because I love music. I go to
Me too.
bands, I go to concerts, and I'm just going to dance. Today, I'm just going to dance. And it lifted my energy so much. So just be a dick, Leanne, like I am on
Yeah.
social media.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So when I'm getting ready to go to dem, I've always got my 90s dance music on, when I'm
Yes.
I'm going, and I've got blaring in the car, and then people go, is your music loud enough? And I'm like, that's my
Uh-huh.
meditation music, I've got to get
Yeah.
myself pumped
Exactly.
up
Yeah. Got to
on
get
my
the
You
engine
have
going.
to.
Yeah.
meds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
A
Yeah.
former
Yeah.
raver. I used to go all over the place raving. Went to Belgium, went to Isle of Techno, I was proper glow sticks in the hair and the boots and everything.
Love it.
So yeah, I was a raver back in the day. And yeah, I mean, I think actually, all those experiences. See now when I'm reading, I get all the ravers. They'll all come through. They'll play like a certain genre of music, and I'll go, this is what they're showing me, and uh, because they're really connecting that way. It's
Yeah.
always like young guys or something, that have maybe passed young, who loved going to different. Like yesterday, there used to be a rave called the Resurrection in Scotland, which was like it was huge, like big festivals, and he came through and he mentioned going to the Res and the reading, and I was like, well, if I wasn't a raver, I wouldn't have got that, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's definitely
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
been.
it's frame reference. Our life
Yeah.
experience plays a lot into our mediumship.
Massive.
No, absolutely
Yeah.
agree.
Massively.
Absolutely agree. No, definitely. So, Leanne,
Oh,
I think I'm going to get Glenda to ask you as we start wrapping up. Is her standard question that she asks everybody? Are you ready?
Lynn, are you ready? Do you believe pineapple belongs on pizza?
I love you, Glenda, but absolutely not.
Oh.
No,
Thank
no,
you.
no, no, no. A cocktail or
You know,
on a stick,
Cocktail.
yes.
Oh,
or on a stick in a party Susie. Do you know what a party Susie is?
What cheese and
no.
pineapple?
Yeah, see when you've got like the round thing and you've got your sticks in the
Sticks
middle,
in
and
it.
then
Yeah.
so you need your so at New Year the Party Susie comes out in Scotland for Hogmanay, and every household in well, in the whole Scotland have got a Party Susie, and that's where the pineapple belongs, along with the pickle and the cheese and the
Yeah.
tinned ham. You know that nobody would ever eat tinned ham apart from at New Year.
Yes.
Yeah. I want a pina colada. That's where the pineapple
Yes,
belongs.
that's it.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
I love it. I saw it. I was watching a movie the other night and there was a clip on there and he's like, I can't believe you put pineapple on pizza. I'm like, I need to screenshot that and send that to David.
Oh no.
No,
Cheese and
thank
pineapple together.
you.
Oh, that's vomit
Oh,
inducing. Sorry, Glenda.
ham, cheese, and pineapple.
No,
Yum.
get out of it. Right, Leanne. So, where can people find you if they want to connect with you and book a reading or come and see you at an event? Where can they find out about you and your events?
So mainly it's Facebook or Instagram. I'm on both. My Facebook's probably more populated than what my Instagram is. Again, I'm getting used to working that, so
Mm,
so definitely, and hopefully my website will be done in the coming months once I get my photos taken.
marvelous. Get
So
that done.
yeah, just come through to Facebook. If you go on Facebook, just to even get my email address, that's there as well. If you're not a social media buff, you could get someone to have a look for you.
We'll put your
But yeah,
links in
that's
in
best way.
the show notes as well, so people can
Perfect.
find you
That's
easier.
great.
Yeah. Well, Leanne, it's been a
Thank
pleasure
you.
talking to you today.
Oh, it's been great. Loved it.
Fabulous.
Thanks for
Well,
coming
thank you.
on.
Thanks for taking the time to speak with us today. It's been an
You're
absolute
welcome.
pleasure. And we hope listeners out there, you've enjoyed this episode as well. And do listen to more episodes. We've got more guests coming, more episodes of me and Glenda just waffling on, talking about random things. And some listener questions. We've got some more listener questions coming up as well. So if you've got a question and you want to ask us, then get those into us as well. But until that point, thank you very much, Glenda.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Leanne. And thanks
Leanne,
for being here. Oh my gosh, it's been wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You are welcome.
Yeah.
So thanks again for listening, and we'll see you all in the Spirit Lounge again soon. Thank you for joining us in the Spirit Lounge for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed what you heard. And if you did, please like and share the podcast. And if you can, please leave us a comment or review, as it really helps us out.
And if you want to hear us talk about a particular topic or have a question you'd like our viewpoint on, then email them to us on either davidhmedium@outlook.com or glenda-marie1@hotmail.com, and we'll get to them as soon as possible.
Lastly, if you'd like to connect with us individually and book our services, you can check out our websites. Glenda's website is www.glendamariepsychicmedium.com.
And you can find David at www.davidhmedium.co.uk.
For now, it's bye from me.
And it's bye from me.
Join us again soon in the Spirit Lounge.